Okay, guys, so this is something that we've needed to do for a while. So back in August, we did the kind of Europe trip, right? We traveled across Europe using nothing but crypto to go from Madrid to Bulgaria. And we were giving away $10,000 during that trip. Basically, we were going to release one word of the seed phrase, which is 12 words, one every single day through that trip. Now, some of you guys probably know how that went. I think we got to about day 9 or 10, and someone had actually managed to force their way through and actually extract the $10,000 before we actually completed the challenge. It was a bit disappointing. It's not how we wanted it to go down. But in today's video, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys where all the hidden words were within those videos. We're going to show you basically where all of the seed phrase was actually buried inside the video so that you can actually see it all for yourselves. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first video then. So the first video is day 1. This is us in Madrid here. And I'm not going to go through all the videos and all that kind of stuff, but around this 6-minute mark, 6 minute 39, I'm just going to hit play and then I'm going to pause it when the word actually comes up into show. Right here on the cup, you can see the word robust. There's actually a couple of different shots with this one, but this is the first word of the seed phrase. So I'm just going to see if I can find, I think there was a shot where Chris was holding the actual cup. It might be much earlier on. Somewhere around here, maybe. Just hit play. I'll come back a little bit further, maybe. Because I know I'm talking somewhere in here. Maybe we didn't include that shot. Maybe we did. Have a look. Yeah, there it is. You can see how he's drinking from the cup, right? So basically the first word is robust. That was in episode 1. So let's go ahead and move over to episode 2 and show you where the second word was. Okay, so this one, episode 2, this is when we're in Barcelona, and this is probably one of the hardest words to get. It is in this screenshot right here. And I will admit, actually, watching this back now, this is definitely way, way more difficult than maybe I was anticipating it to actually be. But the word is right here. It's on this, I guess it's kind of like an electricity kind of grid. And the word is dawn. But I'll admit, that is incredibly difficult to see. I imagine that it's probably going to be much easier on a television or something to that effect. But that is episode 2, Barcelona, and that there is the word. Looking back at it now, that was very, very difficult. But at the time and in the moment, this actually seemed like it was quite obvious. But actually, in reflection, looking back, probably was one of the hardest words to actually find in all of the episodes. Okay. Episode 3, this is when we are actually in Nice. We managed to get to Nice in day 3. And then during the day of Nice, we actually managed to hop on over to Monaco. Now, for the word, this one's actually quite obvious and a little bit easier. I'm going to play the clip and then I'll let you know, or you can let me know in the comments if you manage to see it. But the third word of the seed phrase happens right here towards the end of the episode. Did you see it? Anxiety is the word, and it happens right in here, right there. So that is the word. We kind of buried it in there in a kind of like a more comical kind of moment. But yeah, episode 3 was Nice. We obviously explored Nice, moved over to Monaco, then we dropped this word right here. Let's move over into episode 4. Okay, so in episode 4, we were basically stuck in Monaco for a little bit. And, we had to do some recordings. Chris actually, went to a cafe or whatever, had some wine and stuff like that. And whilst we were in Monaco, this was actually a really difficult word to get. Because what we're trying to do when we're putting all these words into the videos, we didn't want it to be something that we were having to physically put in ourselves. So ideally, would have wanted it to be something that was in the background just naturally, so that you guys could kind of pick up on it. But that wasn't necessarily very easy to do for this particular word. So we actually went to a supermarket in Monaco as we were trying to actually get out of Monaco, and there's a whole taxi fiasco. But if I just play this, we'll see if we can find the actual frame for the word. Now, this is a little bit of a tricky shot, but does anybody know what that is? Because that there was the word, and the music changed, and that music change was kind of deliberate. Let me see. Right here. So this is called monkey shoulder. And what Chris is trying to do with his thumb is actually cover up the word monkey. The word shoulder, because the actual word, the fourth word of the seed phrase is monkey. Now, like I said, this was one of those things where, yeah, very, very difficult. It could be almost anything inside this shot. But the fact that Chris was holding it and was trying to cover up the word shoulder is kind of what this was supposed to be symbolizing. So the word for the fourth day was monkey. And let me know if anyone got that within the kind of subtle context of what was going on within the scene, why the music changed, why Chris was holding monkey shoulder and trying to cover up the word shoulder. It's an interesting one, but let's go ahead and move over into day 5. Okay, so episode 5, we are in Turin, Italy, and this one's actually a little bit easier, I think anyway. So it's about just over halfway through. If I hit play, I'll try to pause it when we get to the scene. Right here, the word sauce. So again, it's a little bit buried. It's maybe not that easy if you're not paying attention, but I thought this was quite a relatively easy one to spot. Well, not one of the harder ones, not like day 2 or Monaco. Those were particularly difficult. This one was a little bit more obvious, a little bit more kind of in your face right there on the scene. The scene doesn't last very long, so you can see that it changes pretty quickly. It's actually a different bench when he goes into this separate kind of point of view. So if you're paying attention, you could probably pick up on a few of those subtle differences, and hopefully you've found the word. But let's move over into day 6. Okay, day 6 was a very difficult day. Basically, it was raining. We were on the hunt for umbrellas. It was a complete failure of a day, specifically when we went traveling to try to find IKEA, and what we found was really just like a showroom here. But anyway, it's literally just about halfway through. We show the word. So I'm going to hit play and then I'm going to pause and you'll see if you can spot it. So right here, I'm going to pause it because although the word is not technically in this shot, the scene in itself was designed to try to foreshadow a couple of things. So in the background, you can see that it's like a kid's playground, a little play area, right? And in my hand, you can see a little sticky label. Now, if I hit play, and right here, you can see the sticky labels being put down as toddler. So this was relatively straightforward. Again, it's right there, right in front of your face on this little montage. Just hit play. It lasts there for a little bit, and then we cut the scene and go and move on. So this one was quite an obvious one. It wasn't exactly a difficult word to find. So yeah, day 6, the word was toddler. Again, the foreshadowing of the kiddie playground, sticky label on the thing. It was quite straightforward. But let's move over into day 7. Day 7. Now, day 7 is, I think, quite an obvious one and quite an easy one, and actually a really difficult word to actually just find naturally in and around. It sounds easy, right? It sounds like it should be a word that should just pop up everywhere, right? But we were struggling to find anything. But if I hit play, this one hopefully will stand out to you guys. So right here, Chris is chilling out, watching Netflix, watching a show called Tomorrow. The word is tomorrow. So the seventh word in the seed phrase is tomorrow. Now, this sounds like something that should just pop up everywhere, and we should easily be able to find something with the word tomorrow on it. But for the life of us, we just couldn't find what we were looking for. So yeah, with quick search on Netflix, and we were able to find this. So again, this was the word. Yeah, hopefully you guys picked up on that one because it's such a random thing for Chris to be watching. There you go. Random as it is. Let's move over to day 8. Okay, so day 8, we're in Venice, and actually really like Venice. Venice was probably one of the better days. Very unsuccessful day from what we were trying to do, but it was probably one of the better places to be. I mean, we didn't really get on too well with Italy, generally speaking. But yeah, we're going to show you. I'm going to hit play. It's about halfway through, and we just show you the 8th word. Let's go. Right there. So the word is grief. Now, this is one of those really difficult words that isn't typically going to show up in places. So we actually had printed a little kind of like wallet with the word grief on it. And we brought that with us specifically for this particular word. Quite an interesting one. Very difficult to just find naturally in and around, and not something that I would have thought we would have found in Venice. Venice was a very unexpected play as well. So yeah, we didn't know where we were going to be with this. So yeah, we printed it up, and there it is. It's in that shot at 9 minutes 53. Day 9. Now, day 9 is actually it's easy, but hard. Again, this is one of those that is on the screen, but it's only on the screen for a split second. So if you're going frame by frame, you're going to be able to find it. But if you were just kind of casually watching, maybe you blinked at the wrong moment, this would have been incredibly difficult. But I'm going to hit play, and we'll see if it pops up. Right there. Swarm. So again, swarm is one of those words that we had to print something for it. It was something that just wasn't going to be just randomly out and about. And it has to be something that was written down, something that people could see, not something that we were speaking out loud. Because we could have spoken a lot of these words, just casually dropping them in places. But when it came to actually having things written out like swarm here, it would have been very, very difficult to actually do. But it's on here just for a second, and then it cuts, as you can kind of see. Very difficult to see if you weren't paying attention. But yeah, that was day 9. So let's move over to day 10. Okay, guys. So day 10 is quite easy. At least I think it was quite easy. And it was one of those words, again, wasn't going to just crop up randomly. I mean, we were looking, when we had this word, we were looking for like cafes or things like that might have this like on a menu or something like that. But we just came up completely blank. And this was a bit of a nightmare day. We went from Rome. We had moved down to, I don't remember the place now. And then obviously we had to go to Pompeii from here because of the wheel. So it was a little bit chaotic. But at the end here, at least towards the end, we show it. So let's go ahead and hit play. Right there, right? Chris is showing you the time for no apparent reason. And his background has the word shine. We were hoping to maybe like find some kind of like sunshine cafe or something like that. But obviously, no, that wasn't the case. But we did manage to find we managed to basically create an image, put it on the back of the phone or as the phone wallpaper, and then came up with the scene to show the time towards the end of the day at 18:03. And yeah, so that is the word. And that ironically still is a plague to Chris's phone, because sometimes he forgets about it and it just pops up as his screensaver. It's quite funny. But yeah, that is basically day 10. That was the word. The 10th word was shine. Day 11. We're in Pompeii. Now, in Pompeii, it's a small place. There's not much to do there, to be honest. It was very touristy. So if you wanted to do anything or go anywhere or see anything, there was going to be a charge associated with it. So we were just wandering the streets, basically. Men of the streets, if you will. And on day 11th, we had to insert a word. This particular word is a difficult word. It's a difficult word to just find somewhere. You're probably never really going to find it anywhere. And you could write it out somewhere, but it's probably really not a good idea. And then what we've come up with was, again, we were to print something and nobody wanted to wear this. Yes, it was a t-shirt, and I am going to hit play. It's only for a second. Right there, Chris is wearing a shirt that said bomb. Now, we have to bear in mind, we were going to the airport after this, right? And so we didn't want, first of all, we didn't know that we were going to end up in Pompeii. We didn't know that day 11, we would be basically traveling to an airport. And so this was definitely a shirt that nobody wanted to touch, right? But nonetheless, the 11th word in the seed phrase was bomb. Let's go ahead and move over to the final day when we actually make it to Bulgaria. Okay, day 12, the finale, the end of our 12-day adventure across Europe, finally making it to Bulgaria. And this word It sounds simple. This word sounds like it should be everywhere, but we couldn't find it, not for the life of us. So fortunately, the people who we actually traveled to Bulgaria to see, which you can see in the scene here, this is Mike and V from Infinity Blocks, our dev team, and they had this idea right towards the end. We'll show the word. So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and hit play. It's literally the very end of the episode. Right there in the sand is the word "say." Now that is it. Those are the 12 words. That's where they are in all of the videos, right? Day 1 was on the coffee cup, robust. Day 2 was kind of graffiti written on the side of an electrical meter thing. That was dawn. Day 3 was anxiety when we were in Monaco. Monkey was also in Monaco. Day 5, we had the word sauce written on the bench. Day 6 was the label for toddler. Day 7 was the Netflix episode of Tomorrow. Day 8 was the wallet that had the word grief written on it in Venice. Day 9 was swarm. Again, that was written out on a passport holder, and that was inside the hotel. Day 10 was the word shine on Chris's phone. Day 11 was Pompeii with the t-shirt that said bomb on it. And then day 12, the final day, was this one right here, written in the sand with the word say. And those were the 12 words that unlocked a $10,000 crypto wallet. And it was really unfortunate and quite difficult for us because it was, I don't want to use the word hacked or stolen or something to that effect, but by, I think it was day 9 or day 10, I forget exactly which one it was. It's all kind of a bit of a blur at this stage. Someone had brute forced their way in. So they had got majority of the words and then they just basically brute forced the last few. And they got access to the wallet and they drained the $10,000. And it happened literally the day after we recorded this video for day 12. And so we basically recorded this video for day 12. And then the very next day, whilst we were at the airport, I was actually stuck in Prague. Chris had incorrectly, well, he thought he was flying to Istanbul, but flew to Israel. Don't ask. And basically, whilst that was all going on, someone had brute forced and had, I don't want to use the word stolen, but they had kind of cheated and had got access to the wallet earlier than anybody else. And it was rather annoying, rather frustrating for us because it's not how we wanted it to go. I mean, we were giving away $10,000, but it has gone, someone got it, but it wasn't really our intention to do it that way. And that's why we haven't done another series. We've been thinking about how we might, position the next one, how we might want to try to do it differently. I thought about maybe taking a couple of people with us on a journey, and one of those individuals would win. It's like a competition, maybe in the actual video series itself. But as far as this particular challenge went, we were successful in dropping all 12 words into 12 episodes, although some of them were very difficult, and it makes you wonder how people managed to find those particular words. You can let me know which ones you found in the comments. So we were kind of successful, we feel, in that part of it, getting from Madrid over to Bulgaria, which was only really truly possible by you guys watching and, of course, donating and spinning the wheel, right? Which obviously affected the journey. And without that, we probably would never have made it to Bulgaria. So yeah, a big thank you for everyone who was involved in the series. And I would like to do another one. I don't know when, and I don't know the mechanics of what that looks like, but watch this space because, yeah, side quest, I think it's not over. It's just beginning.